Have you ever wondered why Clash Royale will release a new card or a new card evolution and it is just busted? Like, come on, look at this gameplay of the new Archer evolution. I am no genius, but it is pretty obvious when a new card is very overpowered or game breaking. This is not the first time Clash Royale has done this. In fact, Clash Royale has a history of releasing obviously broken cards into the game, and I am going to dive into why this may be. Let's start off with some examples. A really great recent example of this would be the Card Evolution release update. In this update, the 4 original card evolutions dropped, and the Firecracker and Royal Giant were extremely overpowered. For the first couple of months of evolutions, a large percentage of players on top ladder were either using a Royal Giant deck or else a Firecracker chip deck. The worst part about all of this was that in order to actually use the evolutions, you had to pay quite a bit of money. Look at these shop offers! If you were a top player, it was almost necessary to purchase card evolutions because they would be at such a disadvantage if they didn't. If you were a free-to-play player, it would take you about a month to finally be able to get your first card evolution. Finally, after 2 months of everyone calling for an emergency nerf on the Firecracker and Royal Giant, Clash Royale finally nerfed them. Another prime example of Clash Royale releasing a super broken card is the Phoenix. On October 26, 2022, the Phoenix was released into the game. I know some of you have nightmares of the Deathbird from this time. The Phoenix was so good, Clash Royale had to nerf it 7 times after releasing it into the game. One of my favorite examples is the Night Witch release. When the Night Witch first came out, it was simply the best card in the game. No debate about that. As long as your opponent did not have poison, you had almost a guaranteed win. Some players would bring Night Witch and Mirror into the battle and consistently get 3 crowns because of how strong the Night Witch was. The Night Witch had to be nerfed a handful of times and reworked to be a somewhat balanced card. So how do you think cards like this get released into the game without the dev team noticing? You would think the Clash Royale team would notice right away if a card would be too good upon release. They do test the cards after all. I have a couple of theories in mind. The first theory is the quite obvious one, which is for the moolah. It can't be a coincidence that all of the examples I listed above basically required money to use them when the cards were in their prime. The Phoenix was a legendary card, which meant it was the hardest rarity to acquire at the time because champions didn't exist yet. It is the same story for the Night Witch. In order to acquire it, you had to be very lucky and get it in a chest, or else you would have to pay money to unlock the card, which was quite tempting because of how good it was. The card evolution update is a perfect example of money being the motive, with the only way to use the evolutions was to buy crazy expensive offers from the shop. After all, Clash Royale is a business and they do need money to keep the game running and pay people to keep updating the game. It makes sense that in order to raise a lot of money, all Clash Royale has to do is make a card overpowered and make it unlockable by paying money through the shop. From this perspective, it is understandable that Clash Royale makes these moves simply to keep their company financially stable. It just sucks that it costs the balance of the game. Another theory on why Clash Royale releases these broken cards is simply they do not have enough data on these cards. Maybe the team that tests the cards were not given enough time to test a lot of card interactions. Or maybe certain statistics were overlooked during the testing. The truth is, Clash Royale is a data-based game. They make the decisions they do based on how the game plays out. If they see a card has an incredibly high usage and win rate, it can probably be fair to assume the card is unbalanced and needs to be changed. The Clash Royale team has certain goals for card usage rates in the game. Sometimes the easiest way to balance a card can be releasing it to everyone and use the statistics created to decide on what should be done to the card. I could definitely see why it can be hard balancing a card, as there are over 100 different one-on-one card interactions now, plus the meta changes frequently. My final theory on why Clash Royale releases super strong cards is for the publicity or advertisement. When there is a super strong card in the game, it is often that people post about it all over social media such as YouTube, Reddit, Twitter, Instagram, etc. A lot of people post these videos because it gets a lot of views and publicity. This can be good for the game because these videos reach out to large audiences. It is basically free advertisement for Clash Royale. The more people post about the game, the more people see Clash Royale, which may create new users for the game. If people see a lot of people are talking about the game, they might be enticed to try it for themselves. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Personally, I think the reason Clash Royale releases OP cards is a mix of all three theories I mentioned. All three theories make sense because there is a good reason behind all of them. Anyways, if you enjoyed, please smash the like button, subscribe for more content. Be sure to check out my most recent video. Thanks for watching, have a good day.